Hello and welcome to The Leading Question. I'm your host, Steve Wigrizer. Today's leading question is this: how have groups, charitable groups, who focused on bringing together diverse communities of people in the Middle East, fared during the tumultuous events of the past 13 months? To help us answer this question, we have two very prominent individuals. Number one, Harvey Price, founder and executive director of Peace Drums in the United States, an organization dedicated to bringing together diverse communities in Israel using steel drums. We also have Chacour, who is the executive director of Peace Drums in Israel. He is the boots on the ground. He is also an internationally acclaimed peace educator and advocate. Harvey, so tell us about the origins of Peace Drums.
Peace Drums goes back about 14 years, where a group called Delaware Churches for Mideast Peace was looking for a way to invest in a project in Israel as opposed to divest from policies in Israel. And they approached me as a lifelong music educator if I had any ideas about how to get Jewish students and Arab students that live in Israel to work together. And I had been working with steel drums for a long time, and I realized that they were a great music education tool, and that when you play in a steel band, the students really learn to appreciate one another. And that's really the origins of it, like I said, about 14 years ago.
I alluded to this at the top of the show. The last 13 months clearly represent a vastly changed environment within which to operate.
So when we first started 14 years ago, we were working in an environment where there wasn't an open war. And the past 13 months has seen an open war on the ground throughout Israel and Gaza. We don't work in Gaza, we work in Israel, but the war has reached Israeli society. One of the biggest changes is dealing with kids who, in the middle of a rehearsal, would have to stop and go into a bomb shelter because there was a missile attack. That has certainly changed the perspective of someone like me, who's very far away in the U.S. working on this project, and also you'll hear later from my business partner, Chacour, who's living there, who's dealing with the missiles coming in and helping the kids get to the bomb shelter. That has really altered the landscape. It hasn't altered the mission of connecting kids in this region, but we're dealing with a society that is under much more stress than when we first started 14 years ago.
Was the impact felt immediately after October 7th?
The impact was felt immediately in all societies in the Middle East. I say that it appears that everybody there has post-traumatic stress.
How has Peace Drums evolved to meet the changing needs of the population which it serves?
So we serve Arab and Jewish students that live in Israel. That population hasn't changed. Their outlook on the world certainly has. But we're basically doing what we have been doing the past 14 years, where we're connecting Jewish, Muslim, and Christian students in a musical ensemble so that they get to know one another. So we're doing the same, but we're doing it in more of an open conflict zone.
Now, obviously, for children in any community to learn to play the steel drum, they need educators. How did you provide educators during this past 13-month period?
We have two educators that work for us, both very fine musicians that live in those communities. Our principal teacher in Israel is a Peace Drums alum, so he started the program when he was 10 years old, and he's now in his 20s, and he's teaching for us, and he plays the instrument very well. as well as other instruments. And we have a very fine musician teacher that teaches about 50 students a week in the West Bank. So we currently have 2 teachers. We're hoping to educate more in the next year because we have more of a demand of students.
What is the Dead Sea Steel Band Festival?
This is a festival that we've been dreaming about for a couple of years. And it is an attempt to get students from the West Bank to interact with students from Israel, what's called in this business a cross-border experience. So it's extremely important that we can get young students who speak the same language of music and a steel band, because they're both being educated, one in the West Bank, one in Israel. They're being educated separately, but with the exact same curriculum.
What new initiatives have there been at Peace Drums?
We've taken on a new school that is the only bilingual school in Israel where they teach Arabic and Hebrew in the same class, which is very, very unusual. In fact, it's not done at all in Israel. This is the only place that does it, called the Hand in Hand School. And they have brought us in to be their music education curriculum.
Obviously, it costs significant money to bring educators to Israel to teach the children. And of course, steel drums are expensive in and of themselves. How do you provide funding for both?
So all of our funding comes from private donations. It's very easy. www.peacedrumsproject.org, and there you can donate right on the website.
But how do you discuss conflict among your numerous stakeholders?
It is a challenge to talk about the politics in the region with people that don't live there. I find that to be the most pressing challenge. So if I'm talking with people in Philadelphia or other parts of the US or even Europe about peace drums and funding peace drums and what we do, everybody has a very strong opinion that is less informed than the people that are living in the region. That's a huge challenge.
Moving forward, are you optimistic about the future of peace drums in Israel?
I am optimistic that what we're doing is the only way to achieve any kind of civil society. It's difficult to be optimistic day to day, given the rhetoric from politicians, but the alternative is no civil society. So I choose to be optimistic that we're going to help create in the future a civil society.
When did you come aboard? Tell us a little bit about the beginning of your involvement with peace drums.
Harvey Price, he came over and introduced me his project, and I seen in his project something unique that I can work for it for the futures, to bring Arab student, Muslim, Christian, and Jews together through the music. So since that time, I work with all my power on that I believe together we are more stronger than any storm, and we have to pass the difficult time through the music, the language that we bringing the kids together without any political side. Doesn't matter for me from which side he cited. The main things, the music, to perform together, to travel together to other places in the country and outside of the country, to show that we still have vision that we will have peace. And this is what we do, teach the kids to respect the others. Doesn't matter the language, the religion, or the color, because all we are equal in the face of God. And in this way, when the student came to the first session, I speak with them about what's mean the peace drums. That's mean they will knew from the beginning that through the music they go to meet other people, and to respect him without any political side. Because all they believe that all we are equal and we can play music together, enjoy together. In 2016, we had a tour in the state. We have a 20 Jewish student and we have a 20 Arab student, Muslim and Christian. They came over, they stay, and we mix the kids together, Jewish with Muslims, Muslim with the Christian, and so. And we haven't find any problem that kids can be together. My favorite memory when we have been celebrating the 500 years for the Lutheran Church in Vienna. And our kids, Muslim, Christian, and Jews, were performing at that hall. I'm not a musician. To be at that place with kids that they haven't been, it's something unique. If we don't have the peace drums, we couldn't be there. And after then we tour as well in Europe, in Germany. We were in England as well, in Switzerland, and the students were 100% accepting each other. I don't have any problem from anyone from them.
How have the past 13 months changed the environment with respect to the Peace Drums organization?
This is our challenge, to keep working so hard for the next generation, and we will do the best that we can do for them to build the first trust between the two nations. And this is very difficult indeed. I feel it in the field. But even when I am sitting here, I just got the message that one of the Jewish students, their parents sent me if he can enjoy the steel drums or not. He from the third class. That means he's about 10 years old. How is good if we have still people believe that through the music we can be together. If we lose hope in Israel, we lose everything. From the two sides, the language of the music can bring all the people together through the music. And this is our mission. This is the Peace Drums mission.
What were the special challenges that you faced over the course of the last 13 months?
After the 7th of October, when the two community, they took off one from each other, it has been very difficult to bring the trust again between the parents. They trust that their kids, they will come, they're not hurt from the other side. Because I am coming from education section, that means we run the largest Catholic school in the north of the country, involved with the student, with all the labs and teachers, visitors from the state, from Europe, from other country. So I know the need of to be together. And when I seen that we missing our Jewish neighborhood, the kids from Ebelim, for example, nearby Haifa, 25 kilometers, they don't have any chance to meet Jewish young children, and the opposite as well. So this is the only place and space that they can meet and interact together through the music and to accept each other as they are. And I seen the first meeting with the kids from the both two schools. They were so delighted, so happy from it. I seen why not to continue with that. We doing things that is no one doing it, that because everyone afraid what the reaction of the other side. What is daily life look like? How the school is look like? How is your family background from where you are? The Arab kids, they know more how to speak Hebrew. The Jewish kids, they don't know Arabic, so they teach each other their language and in good way. And they're asking about the food, they're asking about the daily life. And this is what is, you don't know your neighbor. And this is the most important things in that, to know each other in daily life.
What work does Peace Drums do in the West Bank, and what special challenges have you encountered?
Well, I'm glad that we started in the West Bank years ago, and we still exist to bring people together. In Beit Jala, this is nearby Bethlehem, and the students, they are coming also from Hebron. Hebron, it's about 20 kilometers away from Bethlehem, and they are students, they are suffering to come over because they're passing several checkpoints, but they don't give up from that. Even sometimes take him 2 hours to get to the classroom and to go back home. And this is the first time that in the Palestinian society, kids traveling from city to city, from other city to study music, because they don't have any chance to study music, and especially this kind of music. After the 7th of October, as I see now, it's difficult. I study from the history. When is the difficult time? From the difficult time, it's becoming the opening space for doing such of this kind of a project, that people, they are already able to understand each other, not by forces, by love, by understand, by accepting each other. And this is what we do miss right now. I feel that most of the youngest people, the educated people, they leaving the country to Europe, to the States, to Australia. They're running away from the country because it's really difficult time to be there. The very hardest exam, my 2 daughters, the only I have, they left me and went to Italy and the others to Ireland because the situation. It makes me sad. As well, many young Jewish people also, they left the country for that reason. I hope in the future that we can grow the people, the number of the people they are supporting us in the country, in Israel, for to continue to do our job and our work in good condition.
Both of you have led very full lives. You've been involved in a number of things other than Peace Drums. How do you want to be remembered?
Well, my dream to build in Haifa big center for the Peace Drums, that we can also educate not just kids in the schools, also adults in the city from the both society, and from there we can building a bridge with other community in Europe, in the state.
So, is it fair to say that you remain optimistic about the goals and mission of Peace Drums?
Yeah, I am optimistic. Never I give up. Always I have hope that in the future it will be much better than before. I told you in the beginning, if I lose my hope, I lose my life. Always we said, well, this week we candle in the church the first light of hope. If we lose that hope, we don't reach the Christmas or the Easter as well. And if we lose hope here, we don't find the peace that we are looking for it through the music.
Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed our show. As always, stay curious and don't forget to ask the leading question.